Their players must show that CFG methods are working on the pitch as well as off it. It's a bright, sunny afternoon in Melbourne, and mild temperatures, 19 degrees. So perfect for what we hope will be an entertaining afternoon of A-League football. Let's take a check on the team news. 3 changes for Melbourne City. Callum Talbot is away with Yoli Roos, so we think that Steven Ugarkovic might drop in at right back. Curtis Good drops down to the bench with Nuno Reis returning in the centre. Further forward, Max Caputo is replaced after 5 consecutive starts by captain Jamie McLaren. And Matt Leckie makes his first start since late February. James Nieuwenhuizen replaces Patrick Beach on the bench. Beach also in Qatar with the Olyroos. Now 3 changes for Glory as well. Jacob Muir is a surprise defensive selection in place of Johnny Katrumbis. And Daryl Latchman is also back with Alexander Sushnyar out with injury. Mustafa Amini is unwell, so it's a rejig midfield. And Stefan Kolakowski returns to partner Adam Taggart up front, lining up against his former club. 2 youngsters on the bench. Robert Cook, who replaces Olyroos Cameron Cook, no relation, and 18-year-old winger Kwa Ngo. Well, there's the Perth Glory fans, 100 or so of them have made the trip east. They've been doing that tour of duty for many years now. Great to see them here. And great to see Aurelio Vidmar back as well. After his 3-game absence due to illness, 3 matches that have produced just 1 point in the goalless draw with the Newcastle Jets. Alan Stadic's team are on a 7-match winless run since defeating Brisbane 3-2 at the end of February. Glory have conceded 50 goals this season. Only Brisbane have conceded more. Referee today is Tim Danaskos. Owen Goldrick and Adam Powers run the lines. Jack Morgan is the 4th official, and Lara Lee is in charge of the VAR. So all set for go at Amy Park, a venue that has been pretty good to Melbourne City this season, just 2 losses, and good for them to have Matt Leckie back in the starting 11 as well. He's not featured, at least in the starting 11, since February the 26th against Sydney FC. And a belated happy birthday to Daniel Benny, who turned 18 yesterday. Quite the breakthrough season for him. Alan Stadgic has likened him to Brett Emerton. Praise indeed. So it is Perth Glory in the white shirts today, kicking us off. The final match in round 25, just a couple of rounds to go. And the margin of error is virtually 0 for Melbourne City. Glory looking to launch the first attack. And they are going to get a corner. Is it a case of never mind the performance, feel the result for Melbourne City today, Grace Gill?
Oh, good afternoon, Simon. Well, a huge fixture. It's do or die for City now. Nothing less than the result, the 3 points, to see out their end of the season and dictate their finals football story.
They've got a corner to defend early on here. Riley Warland to deliver, and he gives it plenty of air. Back post was Leckie. And nodded further upfield by Yakulish. Bright sunlight on that far side of the pitch, a little bit glary for the players. City now on the move. Leo Natel has to turn back due to the pressure from Jacob Muir. The cross does come in the end. Daryl Latchman underneath it for Perth Glory. Jago stretching. Benny hooking the ball forwards. This is Steven Ugarkovic lining up, as we anticipated he might, on the right-hand side of that defensive line for Melbourne City. Has played there before. Oh, Jago almost had his pocket picked there. But he's got away with it and sets City moving forward. A heavy touch from Lecky, but manages to recover. Jakalic on the right. And in the end, it is pretty well defended, at least in the first instance, by Majeka-Dummi, and then he rather casually gave the ball away. And Jamie McLaren gets a corner. Comedy of errors there.
Well, a rather nervy start, you must say, to the game. A couple of slips at either end of the field. Jimmy Jago to begin in the middle of the park, and then this no-look pass from Majeka-Dummi has just gone amiss. A lot of pressure riding on today's game.
For City will take them within 1 point of Western Sydney. Arslan towards the near post, and the ball squirts around the edge of the 6-yard box. It's Leo Natel who has the first real shot in anger, but it was always falling away from that right-hand upright.
Ollie Sale was pinned to the spot. He had his arms out in frustration. Didn't get a great deal of a look at the ball. Lots of traffic in the way, the sun in his eyes as well. But a bit of a nervy start at either end.
That dazzling sunlight, tricky for goalkeepers. Ollie Sale's penalty box almost equally divided between sunshine and shade. He's not wearing the cap for the moment. Jakalic quite able to squeeze it down the line. Riley Warland sends it forward for Perth. Now it goes off the head of Bruce Kamau for a throw.
Well, it's an experienced look. City side that Aurelio Vidma's gone with this afternoon. Not just in the way of age, but plenty of appearances in this starting 11.
Referee Danaskos not happy with where Steven Ugarkovic was taking the throw. Ushered back a few metres. Sent wide by Suprayan. Arslan. Square for Nuno Reyes. Jakalic. And Lecky. Fernandez trying to float it, and he did find McLaren. Nobody in the middle for the knockback. And a quick release from Ollie Sale. Looking to catch Melbourne City unaware, but Suprayan was there in time ahead of Taggart. That could be a key battle tonight. He had quite the scrap, Suprayan, with Bruno Fornaroli in the derby last week. Meantime, Sale's clearance straight at Jago. Lecky takes the ball in his stride. Turned back by Jakalic and square by Ugarkovic. Out wide by Fernandez. And the cross slung in, but straight at Ollie Sale. And a quick release for Bruce Kamau, former Melbourne City player, of course. As is Stefan Kolakowski, who runs the ball out of play on the near touchline. 46 games and 3 goals for Melbourne City in a 3-year spell before leaving for WA in an attempt to get more regular first-team football, which he's certainly got this season. Certainly didn't last.
It's been quite a revelation for Kolakowski. He's really enjoyed evidently working under Alan Sajic. Finding some good partnerships across the field as well, and unsurprisingly, just these opening few minutes, seeing Perth try and hit on the counter, the quick ball in behind. It's large in part been their approach to attack across the course of the season.
Yes. Leo Natel through Fernandez, and now Jago. Nuno Reyes. No pressure on the ball carrier. Here's Matt Leckie. Just tried to turn inside Daryl Latchman. Glory defence just about doing enough. And a foul by Riley Warland. They stood off Nuno Reyes.
Well, they did. They allowed for the pass to be played, which was a really well-worked ball as well. And this is just smart from Matt Leckie, getting his body in between the ball and his opposing player, and what sets up to be a pretty handy position for a free kick when you've got the likes of Tolgay Arslan standing over the ball.
Supriyan and Nuno Reyes have made their way forwards in anticipation of a bit of quality on the delivery from Tolgay Arslan. He doesn't normally disappoint. Went in the direction of Supriyan. It's going to be a City throw. Vicente Fernandez looking for an option. Arslan provides. Back heel not read, and Daniel Benny stole in. And now Glory will look to counter, but it's a poor touch by Adam Taggart. Picked up in midfield by Trent Osler, and now Glory attempting to move forward down the right. City haven't lost back-to-back games at Amy Park since February 2022. They lost the derby here last week, of course. Leo Natel. Not a bad try.
Got a nice piece of that. Leo Natel, a really clean hit. Not a bad option either, after trying to work the previous couple of attempts in. Small, tidy passes, well, a long-range effort, just to keep Ollie Sale on his toes.
Three goals so far this season. Double against Brisbane and one against Western Sydney Wanderers. It's been a handy pickup for City. 3 assists as well, particularly in the extended absence of Andrew Naboot. A bit like Matthew Leckie has had a very stop-start campaign. Yakulish. 2 defenders and he's around them both. Done really well, Aaron Yakulish, and a skewed attempt at a clearance by Trent Osler. Picked up by Natel again. McLaren shows early and goes near post, and it's off the post. Wow, that was some super sharp work by both Leo Natel and then Jamie McLaren, and he was only inches away.
Well, half a breath. The delivery, first of all, to find McLaren, pierces the defence of Perth Glory. And the swivel on the spot too from Jamie McLaren. Well, that would have been some introduction back into the starting side.
Started his A-League career, of course, with Perth Glory. 38 games and 11 goals as the corner comes in. Glory deal with that, and Warland to send it long. And then Daniel Benny looking for Taggart. Nobody in support, though, of Glory's top marksman. And of course, has got the golden boot still very much in his mind. 17 goals this season, Adam Taggart. Bruno Fornaroli leading with 18. It's Leo Natel again, seeing a lot of the ball in the early stages. Went for the shot in the end. He had 2 or 3 opportunities to put the cross in, but just delayed a little too long, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe thought about it a little long there, Leo Natel, after what was a nice sweeping move from one side of the field to the other for City. Stephen Ugarkovic with a neat pass just to separate the defence.
Those early possession stats very heavily in favour of Melbourne City, and they've racked up 4 shots already. Jamie Young mindful of the presence of Adam Taggart. They're out of that little press quite nicely, Melbourne City. Fernandez. Natel. Arslan for Jego. Nuno Reyes. And Steven Ugarkovic. Lecky got it stuck between his feet, but it's a good retrieval by Jego. Lifted over the top by Lecky. And Jamie McLaren just completely misread the bounce and was offside anyway.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward one there for McLaren. You saw what Matt Lecky was trying to do. But I'll tell you what, that's yeah, perhaps a little closer than thought.
Oh, Jamie Young, heavy touch. He's fortunate to get away with that one. Daniel Benny wants a corner. He's going to be disappointed. It seemed a pretty straightforward back pass, but far too heavy on the touch.
Well, it should have been exactly that, rudimentary. But it's not the first one we've seen this afternoon. Just those first touches escaping the body of a few players. Jamie Young not alone in that. The surface perhaps a little slippery. We've seen a couple of players lose their footing underneath as well.
Fernandez places it out in front of Leo Natel, who's around Jacob Muir. Leo Natel! What a brilliant finish by the Brazilian. Melbourne City have the reward for that early dominance, and it's a thunderous goal scored by Leo Natel.
Well, it certainly felt as though it had been building for Melbourne City. And Leo Natel, on the Harvey Norman replay, what was a powerful run, a fantastic first touch across the body of his defender, gets himself into a perfect shooting position and just streams his way through effortlessly. A beautifully taken hit and a wonderful way to get Melbourne City off and running. They've started this one strong, and that is a powerful finish.
His 4th goal in City Blue. He's been heavily involved in the opening 15 minutes here and has now got his reward. Remember, Melbourne City got an early goal in the derby last week against Victory, and were not able to see the job through. Still plenty of time for Perth Glory to turn this one around. That's a loose ball though, and Melbourne City pounce. It's 2! You can't give Tolgate Arslan that sort of room. He wasn't going to miss from there, even though he was still a fair way out. And this has all gone horribly wrong in the space of 2 minutes for Perth Glory. Tolgate Arslan's 11th of the season.
Well, Melbourne City already had one. Tolgate Arslan said, how about another? It was a poor cough-up out from the goal kick from Perth Glory, and on the Harvey Norman replay, really well worked from Matt Lecky to capitalise, to find Tolgate Arslan. Of all players, you cannot afford someone of his quality that amount of time and space. 2 touches, a turn, gets the strike away. Nothing Ollie Sale can do about that. That is a wonderful hit.
Well, just far too casual from Daryl Latchman. Lecky pounced and Arslan did the rest. 11 in the A-League, 17 in all competitions now for Tolgate Arslan. What a first season in the A-League it's been. And Perth Glory have taken 2 very big hits to the jaw in quick succession. The ball goes out. Let's go down to Michael Zapponis. I think you've got a point to make about that heavy touch by Jamie Young on Daniel Benny some moments before that opening goal.
Yeah, and you know, Alan Stajic was frustrated because he knew that his team was struggling at that point, and I'm only 2 feet away from him, and he said if Daniel Benny went down there, he thinks that should have been a penalty, and perhaps some inexperience from the youngster, just turned 18, as you said, but there was a bit in that challenge from Jamie Young, so things could have been very different for them.
How the game of football can change in the blink of an eye.
Well, fine margins. But you're right, it wasn't the first touch that had gotten away from someone, and Latchman far too casual at the back there. And the quality of Tolgay Arslan, well, we know he's a wonderful, wonderful footballer. He just cannot afford that kind of time and space. Credit must also be paid to Matt Leckie just for pinching the ball, steering it in the direction of Arslan.
Well, what the Perth Glory have in response? They won only once on the road this season. That was to the Western Sydney Wanderers back in January, but they're really up against it here. Leckie in towards a near post. It's 3, you know. I fancy that's going to be an own goal. Scored by Caelan Majeka-Dumbi. Matt Leckie gets the congratulations, and whoever's name goes on the score sheet, it's 3 for Melbourne City, and Perth Glory might be dead and buried already.
Well, Ollie Sale remains on the floor, asking questions, not having the answers. It's going from bad to worse for Perth Glory at the moment. Not even 20 minutes in, City are 3 goals to the good, and on the Harvey Norman replay, this time it comes from the right-hand side. Again, Matt Leckie has been heavily involved. And Jamie McLaren, his first start in 6 games, well, he's got to be there. Whether the touch comes off him or Majeka-Dumbi, he plays disruptor, he gets in the way. It's difficult for Sale to see, and City are comfortable.
Well, Leckie with the assist. I'm pretty sure that's going to go down as an own goal to Caelan Majeka-Dumbi. And goodness me, what a horrible 4 or 5 minutes for the Glory. And those travelling supporters on their tour of duty. It really is a tour of duty at the moment on the road, isn't it, for Perth?
Certainly not the game that those travelling fans have come to see. Speak about tour of duty, well, there's a bit of work to be done here for the Perth Glory players.
And that pass back from Daryl Latchman was a bit of a hospital ball as well. This is not looking good for the men from the West.
It's an experienced side I mentioned out there for Aurelio Vidmar. We know McLaren coming back in, Leckie coming back in.
Well, City in the mood. Glory in the depths of despair at the moment. And they've got to prevent this from getting even worse. Yaklish with the cross. Well, again, an unchallenged header for Matt Leckie, but couldn't keep it down this time. And you just can't afford to clock off defensively when you're up against the likes of Leckie and Tolgay Arslan and McLaren, because they will punish you. Leckie. Ugarkovic keen to join in. Hits the byline, near post. That could have been 4. Yaklish forcing the save out of Ollie Sale at the near post.
Yet again, another swift move from City. This touch from Ugarkovic was smooth. All too easy to get around Riley Warland there. They just bought into the little fade. City are in cruise control at the moment.
Tolgay Arslan with City's latest corner. That one dealt with at the near post, at least, by Giordano Colli. Out it pops for Nuno Reis. We're told that Perth Glory might be readying an early change. More on that in a moment. Here's Kamau. They are second best all over the pitch at the moment. Tolgay Arslan. Just too many bodies in the way. Jego. They're ahead of Taggart. Ugarkovic. They're just that little bit sharper, Melbourne City. Cyprian. Fernandez. For once, Leo Natel is not hugging that left-hand touchline. Ugarkovic. Jakalic. Latchman there. Turned back by Osler. Towards halfway by Latchman. Off the chest of Collie. Kamau losing out. Lecky, what a release that is. Beautiful ball. Arslan in space. They're queuing up again, Melbourne City. Arslan, top of the box. Charge down. An effort from Leo Natel, but again, City dig the ball out. A little bit too clever from Arslan.
Oh, that's a player feeling confident.
It's too high for Cyprian. Wallen steers it back to Ollie Sale. Oh, Nuno Reis. Wasn't entirely convincing, was he? Under pressure from Kolakowski, and he's got away with it. And the ball goes out. Let's quickly go down to Michael Zappone and get more news on that potential change, Zappa, for Glory.
Yeah, well, this is extraordinary. Riley Warland will be the man who'll come off, we're told, and John Contrumus will make his way onto the park. Now, we're 24 minutes into a game. I've watched a lot of A-League football over the years, Simon. I can't remember one this early, and Riley doesn't look to be injured, but we'll confirm that if he does, in fact, come off in the next few moments.
Interesting. Thanks, Zappa. I wonder if Contrumus will go on the right, maybe Jacob Muir on the left. A little reorganisation to try and stem the bleeding. Wallen's giving chase here because Lecky's got away from him once again. The cross headed clear by Latchman, back in by Jago. City absolutely bossing this game. And yet, they could have given away one or two chances to Perth Glory. A little bit of indecision defensively.
Well, we talk sometimes about teams ruining missed chances, not capitalising on those moments. Well, City have done the exact opposite of that. Had little half glimpses, created some really good opportunities and buried them, really comfortably buried them. Some good quality finishes. At the other end, Perth have had their sniff as well.
That was well read initially by Jacob Muir. Here's Fernandez, though, for Melbourne City. Leo Natel spots that little sliver of space for Tolgay Arslan. It is 4. It goes from bad to worse for Perth Glory. Tolgay Arslan has a double, and City are out of sight. And Glory facing a real drubbing here at Amy Park, potentially.
Well, that is cheeky from Tolgay Arslan. And on the Harvey Norman replay, City came here this afternoon with a job to do. It was do or die, and rest assured they are doing. That is a really neat find. The pass through, threading through Perth Glory's defence. The little switch of the hips here from Arslan. The look up, considers his options, and decides he'll have a go himself, and why not? Melbourne City are absolutely flying.
Well, they beat Western Sydney Wanderers 7-0 here a few weeks back. Not beyond the realms of possibility. They could go close to that scoreline once again. We've yet to play half an hour at Amy Park. And Tolga Arslan moves into the top 5 for goals scored this season. Johnny Katrumbis is on in place of Riley Warland. And really, Grace, you have to say, Perth Glory's defending, well, they were just stood around like witches' hats.
Yeah, and that's a big call to make for Stadge, but obviously he's had to do something. He's had a look at the opening, well, not even 30 minutes, as you've just mentioned, Simon, and said something's got to give here. I did think the omission today of Katrumbis not in the starting 11 was an interesting one for me. I thought he'd been excellent across the course of the season for the Glory. But that is a tough opening stanza for the Glory defence.
4 goals in 12 minutes have whistled past Ollie Sale. And it took them 42 minutes to get 4-0 up against the Wanderers in that game a few weeks ago here at Amy Park. Forward by Colley. Kolakovsky will be a willing runner and keep Suprayan honest. Stajic has shown he's not frightened to make early changes. Lovely turn by Arslan. Isn't he a super player? Such balance and composure. It could be in again here. Make that 5! Leo Natel has a double. Oh, this is horrible. Horrible for Perth. But wonderful, wonderful for Melbourne City.
Well, it is utter capitulation for Perth Glory. But...
oh, hang on.
Hold that thought.
Looks like this one's going to be ruled out. Is it Jamie McLaren who was stood in an offside position and impeding the line of sight of the goalkeeper? It was Tolga Arslan with the initial burst. Let's have a look. Mattel cuts inside. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you'd argue on that one. Well, they've deemed indeed that McLaren was in the view there of Ollie Sale.
They're checking, of course. Laura Lee in the VAR booth today. Did look as though McLaren had just ghosted fractionally offside, and if he is in the line of the goalkeeper's sight, this will tell us better, I guess. And this will probably be ruled out. Yeah, I think it's going to be robbed off, this goal.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And that angle a little more definitive, which is, well, a shame for Leo Natel, but perhaps a lifeline and just a moment of reprieve for Perth Glory.
If it's not offside, then it's
Well, that's the explanation from Jack Morgan, the 4th official. If it's not offside, then it doesn't matter. But if he is offside, then he's in the line of sight of the goalkeeper. So that's what they're trying to decipher at this very moment. And it's quite a long delay whilst they draw the lines. It's tight, isn't it? Hard for us to see on that angle.
It's tricky to tell from exactly that replay if McLaren had drifted into just the slightest of offside positions.
Well, those Perth fans waiting with bated breath. Mind you, the game's probably gone from their team already. But they'll have fun nonetheless. And still we wait for a definitive verdict. And quite honestly, this is taking way too long. Way too long. Either he's offside or he's not. And if they can't tell, then they've got to stick with the on-field decision.
Oh, spot on.
Which is goal. We're told they've got the protractors out and the set squares. Come on, guys. We need to know.
Yeah, it's a fair hurry up there from Jamie McLaren. Both teams just wait to see. That's the freeze frame that they're having a look at.
Well, again, I go back to, is it a clear and obvious error? If it's this tight and taking this long, then it should go back to the on-field decision.
Melbourne City had scored 3 in 5 minutes there for a moment and have been standing around for a good couple of minutes already.
Well, this is ridiculous. The players have been standing around here for 2 or 3 minutes now. Some of the Glory fans have turned their back on the game. Maybe you can't blame them after the first half an hour.
They said, let us know when it's over.
We've waited over 4 minutes now for a decision. And it's a goal. Go figure.
Well, that one will stand. It took far too long to reach the decision, but ultimately for City, they've notched their 5th goal in this opening half, and the half still has plenty of minutes to play. It is an almighty uphill battle for the Perth Glory boys.
Well, Leo Natel gets his 2nd brace for Melbourne City after netting 2 in the 8-1 win over Brisbane. Goodness me, they've had some massive home wins this season, haven't they, Melbourne City?
When
That makes you wonder why they're not in the top 6.
Well, that's exactly right. When they're on, they are on. They showed up in the mood today. They've had a job to do, not only getting the job done, but making a good difference to their goal difference as well.
And there wasn't even so much as that lifeline from VAR for Perth, who scamper forward here in the shape of Bruce Kamau, and Katrumba's trying to wrap his boot around it. Well, there's the line, which is green. Green for go. Goal. It just took an awful long time to get there.
But this is a great opportunity, Perth. They need a response. They need to stem the bleeding. The experienced players need to step up.
So, a corner for Perth. Colley floats it towards Taggart at the back post, and there was a touch by Jamie Young, so they'll get another go from the other side. Jamie Young just making absolutely sure. As mentioned, tricky for goalkeepers. He's sort of half in shade and half in sunlight. Really awkward for the men between the posts. Colley's delivery evades everybody. Goal kick.
Ultimately, a little disappointing there from Perth. Had Jamie Young looking into the sun. Just needed to plant that delivery right on top of his head. Force a save out of the goalkeeper, who hasn't had a great deal to do in this opening 35 minutes.
Jamie McLaren. And they've stolen in on the blind side again. Latchman recovers this time. But he's had a nervy opening 45 minutes, hasn't he? The vastly experienced central defender. He and 1 or 2 others.
And frustrating scenes too for the team, for Alan Stajic, because a lot of these moments for Perth Glory, they are easily preventable. Little mistakes, slips on the ball, just minor passages that lead to fairly major ramifications, largely in the shape of 5 goals to Melbourne City.
Yakilish has drawn the contact from Daniel Benny. free kick for Melbourne City. And included stoppages, we've still got another 10 minutes or so of this first half to run. We think that Melbourne City have now equalled the most goals scored by a club in a first half of an A-League game. We'll get that confirmed. Young's had one or two problems with his footwork in this first half. Glory enjoying a rare bit of territory in the City half of the pitch. Collie fancying that he might have been offside. Didn't make a run for that little flick from Stefan Kolakowski.
City's quality is something that Glory coach Alan Stajic did mention throughout the week. When the City team had the likes of Leckie on the bench, McLaren on the bench at the time, Tilio as well, of course, out today with that hamstring injury. But when you've got players like that in your ranks, and when they are at their best, which they seemingly are today, the damage they can do is, well, it's on display.
Well, it also helps, in fairness, when you defend like Perth Glory have in this first half. See if they can deal with this raid. Tolga Arslan's escaped unmarked. Out it pops for Leo Natel on a first half hat-trick, of course. Reset through Jugarkovic, Leckie. Jego. Jugarkovic. Looking to hit the byline. Just to settle for the corner off Collie.
It's been sound. Jugarkovic playing in slightly out of position at right fullback role. Hasn't had a huge amount of defending to do, but has been able to maraud forward on a couple of occasions.
Corner work short. Arslan's ball in. And again, wasn't the greatest of challenges on McLaren for the header.
Well, defensively, it's really poor. The ball planted on the head of Jamie McLaren. And Benny just pinned to the ground. Needs to get up, needs to challenge. Young player indeed, but has to throw a bit of weight around there.
Again, they've turned the ball over. It's a good win back, though, by Johnny Petrumbis. Beyond him is Adam Taggart. By the way, these first half goals that Perth have conceded means it's now 55 conceded this season. That's their most ever now in a single season. Previous worst was 54 in 10-11, and that was 30 games, remember. So that's one very big problem that Alan Stajic will have to fix ahead of next season.
Even that space for Perth just in front of their centre halves. Between Tolga Arslan and Matt Leckie, the number of times they've been able to pick the pocket of the Perth Glory holding midfielders has looked all too easy.
Reyes had to get the feet sorted out quickly. He did it really well. Jugarkovic. Jakalic. Difficult to think that 20 years ago this month, We were watching Perth become national champions in the old NSL, defeating Parramatta Power by 1-0. A long way off those heady days at the moment. Jamie Young off his line. If Perth can get the ball forward quickly, appeals for handball here. It's going to be a yellow card against James Jago. First of the match.
Some quick thinking play there from Perth Glory. Just looking to stream forward early. Jamie Young had pushed really high to join in the attacking play. It was well off his line if Perth Glory were able to get the shot away.
This is Osler towards Jacob Muir on the left. Not a bad delivery. Seen out by Fernandez. This is Kamau. The tussle for possession favours Melbourne City. Petrumbis back in position to prevent it from getting through to Natel. He made sure he didn't shirk his defensive duty. City get the whistle for the foul on Supriya.
It's such a tough position to be in now for Perth. It's all been rather pedestrian. And the question, the challenge of how to get something back from this game.
We've got to make sure they don't concede a sixth here. Yakulish, good take by Ollie Sale. Sprinting forward is Muir, but he's put it out way too far in front of Kolakowski.
Definitely is a greasy surface out there. You can see continuing players just losing their footing. That ball's definitely skipping across the surface.
Final minute of the regulation 45. There is going to be at least 4 minutes to be added on for the long VAR stoppage. Leckie sets Yakulish away. Has time to get the head up. Oh, and that should have been the hat-trick for Tolga Arslan. But he got right underneath it.
Well, he knows it. It should have been the half dozen there for the City boys. And Leckie, some really fantastic hold-up play.
Now, Adam Taggart not flavour of the month for the City players for that challenge on Vicente Fernandez. And there are not only raised voices, but one or two raised arms as well. Referee Tim Danaskos has got to sort all that out. Little bump in the back of the Chilean.
Yeah, and just half a breath too late there from Adam Taggart. Just through the back there of Fernandez.
Well, there's the best news of the afternoon so far for Perth Glory. First half is not too far away from being over. It has been a horror story. By contrast, something of a fairy tale for City. That's a good steal by Jacob Muir. Enough weight on the release though for Taggart. Leckie. All wrapped up by Giordano Colli. Like two lovers in an embrace there, weren't they? Leckie and Colli.
Just tangled together there. I was just talking about the strength of Matt Leckie though. His hold-up play this afternoon has been very good. Provided a lot of pressure, a lot of physical duels, and time again just comes out on top, is able to find a release pass.
Sent forward by Colli. Petrumbis. Turned in field by Benny. It's a bit better from Perth Glory, but Kamau was just a fraction too high for him. They do get the throw though, Glory. Jekadunmi across the defensive line. It's left a fraction short of Collie. Did well to retrieve it. So, as mentioned, those 5 first-half goals equal the records for a team scored in the first half of an A-League game. Western Sydney Wanderers did it earlier on this season against Western United, round 2. And 2 other clubs. Sydney against Wellington back in 13-14. Alessandro Del Piero got 4 goals that day. Brisbane the same against Adelaide back in 11-12. They beat the Reds 7-1 at Suncorp. Still time for Melbourne City to add a 6th here. Jego. What on earth does Alan Stajic say to his charges at half-time? Apart from peel off the wallpaper, I guess. But I'm not sure that's going to do too much good. They'll know that they played poorly.
They will. They'll be the first to put their hands up and acknowledge it. But the bigger challenge is how you get yourself back into a game. How you stop this barrage from Melbourne City.
Here's Fernandez around the back. Arslan. Ball here for Leo Natel. He's brought down by Daniel Benny. It's going to be a free kick for Melbourne City. Well within range as well.
Really dangerous spot here. And again, smart by Leo Natel. Just gets his body in front of Benny enough to invite the contact, exactly as he did for his goal. His first touch. Very smart thinking there. Sets up a wonderful position for a free kick.
There's a bit of a fight for the free kick here. 2 players both on a first-half hat-trick. Leo Natel and Tolga Arslan. Steven Ugarkovic has been waved away. Yeah, you're not taking it, mate. Sorry. A defensive wall of 4 for Ollie Sale. Tolga Arslan looks as though he might have pulled rank here. Arslan firing wide. Disappointing in the end. Leo Natel saying, look, you should have given it to me.
Well, perhaps he'll get the next one. Flashes just wide there for Arslan.
McLaren. Arslan run out of it by Petrumbis. Sent long by Sale. And that is half-time, mercifully, for Perth Glory. What a first half, though, for Melbourne City. Record equaling first half. A double for Tolga Arslan. 2 for Leo Natel, the second after a long VAR review, and an own goal from Kalen Jekadunmi, completing a pretty miserable first half picture for the visitors from WA. And no mistaking Melbourne City's quality, and it's all looking like a big 6-pointer in Parramatta next week against the Wanderers. Half-time, though, here at Amy Park. Melbourne City 5, Perth Glory 0. We're off to a quick break. On the other side of it, join Michael Zapponi and the team for their thoughts on the first half. Don't go away.
This year's Alex Tobin Medal is brought to you by Isuzu Ute, awarded to the best player of the season as nominated by the Paramount ANZ football team. The winner of the prestigious award will receive $10,000. Plus, the Isuzu Ute Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club of choice to win a brand new, top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX to be announced during the grand final. To stay in touch with the leaderboard, tune in for weekly updates at your home of football.
Starts. Stoddy, the floor is yours right now. You've got a prepared speech. I'll give you this microphone and here you go.
Thank you. On behalf of our entire team, I would first like to thank His Highness Sheikh Mansour, our Chair Khaldun Al Mabarek, Vice Chairman Simon Pearce, and our CEO Brad Rose. Without your support and backing, our success would not be possible. Yep. I would also like to thank our principal partner, Etihad Airways, as well as major partners Federation Uni, Host Plus, McDonald's, Nissan, Nostra Homes, Origin Energy, Puma, and Workplace Law. As well, we'd love to say a massive thank you to our individual player sponsors. We appreciate all your support. To Dario and the entire support staff, thank you so much for all you've done for us. You get the best out of us every day, developing us as footballers and putting everything in to help us be our best. To our incredible City fans, whether it's interstate, at Casey, or here at Amy Park, thank you for always being there. And lastly, to my amazing teammates, we did it. I'm so proud of every single one of you. For many of you, this is your first trophy. You've worked so hard for it. We're not done yet, though. Let's get the double. Go on, City!
Thank you, Sonny. It's now time for
What a moment that was. Just tell us about how special that was for you.
Yeah, it was so amazing to do it here at Amy Park in front of our fans. So it's such a great year we've had. It's not over yet, so we're thrilled.
7 trophies for you, 3 Premiers Plates, 4 championships. Can you make it 8 is the question.
I hope so. That's the goal. No, it's pretty incredible, and I just love this club so much. So happy to be here.
Well done. All the best for the rest of the finals.
Thank you so much.
All right, don't go away. Second half.
Welcome back. Second half not too far away at Amy Park. And Alan Stajic has perhaps predictably made a couple of changes at half-time. Josh Rawlins and David Williams have been summoned off the bench. David Williams, of course, played against one of his former clubs. Had a very successful spell with Melbourne City in the earlier part of his career. 101 games and 21 goals in City Blue in a 5-year stint. Still City's 4th highest ever goal scorer. And there's Josh Rawlins, who has replaced Jacob Muir. I think Stefan Kolakowski is the other player that's been withdrawn in favour of David Williams. Melbourne City get the ball rolling for the second half. 5 goals to the good. And looking set for their 100th win at Amy Park in the A-League Men's. And they've been good value, Grace Gill. As poor as glory has been, you can only beat what's in front of you, and City have been excellent.
Yeah, good value. Perhaps an understatement as well. They've been clinical, they've dominated possession, and they've worked it well. Perth Glory with all to do in this second half.
Just a sliver of sunlight on the far side of the pitch now, which will make it easier, certainly for the 2 goalkeepers. Ollie Sale must have felt like he was facing an avalanche in that first half. Shots raining in from all angles. And quite frankly, it could have been 1 or 2 more. And I guess base camp for Perth in this second half is to at least keep a clean sheet. Maybe try and pinch one at the other one. There's a strong run from Katrumbis and a chance here for Adam Taggart. And Jamie Young did his job, and the rebound came off the Glory striker. Goal kick.
You know what, that's a really positive start for Glory, and it had to be as well. Nice sweeping move down there, attacking right-hand side. If anything, that delivery from Katrumbis perhaps could have come just half a shade earlier. Taggart in a really good position, driving into the 18-yard box. And short of the finish, that was a nice move.
1 more goal for Adam Taggart, of course. Will take him level with Bruno Forderoli in the Golden Boot race. And also set a new Glory seasonal record in the A-League. Andy Keogh knocked in 17 back in season 14-15. Richmond just about managing to readjust. We go back to the NSL days. Damien Murray scored over 20 goals in 1 season. He still holds the club's all-time record. Chante Fernandez with the throw-in. He's given away penalties in each of his last 2 games against the Mariners and Victory. David Williams, good strength, and he's battling to get to the ball ahead of Supriyan, but Jamie Young out to smother.
As is expected, and as we have seen from David Williams across the course of the entire season, great energy coming off the bench, providing that experience, but also the impact.
He's looking for a little milestone today as well, David Williams. He's on 49 A-League goals for all his various clubs. 4 more will bring up the half-century. Fernandez. Leo Natel. Lecky. Wide right is Jugarkovic. Put on to with Jakalic. Slightly heavy touch from Jugarkovic. Lecky. Natel. Lecky again. Right for Fernandez, whose cross was deflected. A little bit awkward for Majeka Dunmi. And then Supriyan catching David Williams. As the two contested the 50-50 ball.
It's heavy coming together, just the clash of legs there. A sore one for Williams.
Here's a chance for Daniel Benny for Perth at the ground where he scored his first A-League goal against Melbourne Victory a few weeks ago. But he's got that one horribly wrong. But another chance created for Perth. That's 2 in the opening 5 minutes of the second half, which is baby steps maybe, but a little bit of progress.
A tricky one for Benny to take as well. Just caught the strike as the ball was rising from the bounce. It was hard to get your head over the top of that, but you're right, half chances. Just a touch more quality, maybe able to challenge Jamie Young.
Tobe Arslan comes away with the ball after that little skirmish, and Jugarkovic will carry it forward. Options right and left. And he went centrally instead for McLaren, which was probably the hardest of the 3 options. Natel. Dzeko. Down the line by Fernandez. Natel being driven back by Katrumbis. It's calmly done. Forward by Dzeko. Turned around the corner by Lecky, intelligently so as well for Jugarkovic. Jakalic in front of him. Lecky. And Katrumbis' header will only reach Leo Natel. And towards the near post area, McLaren just trying to flick it towards goal. Couldn't make any contact, and then another foul on Williams by Supriyan.
Really coolly composed possession by City, just working the ball forward, trying to find a way through. It's a midfield battle that at the moment City are well and truly on the top of. Remembering today as well, without Amini in the middle of the park for glory, of course. It's as though they're missing his intensity and experience somewhat.
Well, Perth unhappy with that challenge by Matt Lecky. They felt he rather dived in there. Referee gives just a free kick. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, 2 feet off the ground, briefly anyway. Forward by Latchman. Comfortable for Nuno Reis. protected by Osler. All the way back to Ollie Sale, who's still just kept the one clean sheet for glory, which came in the home goalless draw against his old club Wellington Phoenix. He's been a busy man today. Good stretch by Williams. Katrumbis ran into Jago, but it breaks for Osler. Williams. Was deflected by Fernandez, but Benny was there. Lachman nipping in ahead of Tolga Arslan. He had a bit more time than he perhaps realised there. Scraps well to win the ball back. Now it's with Jakalic and Jamie McLaren in space here. Could this be 6? Not quite. And the flag is up anyway against Jamie McLaren.
Opened up nicely again after a little sustained period of possession for City. Like the idea of the clipped ball over the top from Jakalic. It's tight. McLaren looks to bring that first touchdown off his chest, but Ollie Sale has had a very busy afternoon. Comes out well to smother.
Katrumbis. Kamau. Katrumbis was in a good position for the return, but slightly overhit by Bruce Kamau. Arslan. Ugarkovic. A bit short for Jago. Williams slid in. Taggart. Pass is just not quite sticking in that front third for glory.
You could see what Taggart was trying to do. Just misdirected his pass. It was a little narrow. So he's going to make things hard.
Fernandez. Mattel rolls it forward for Arslan. Jago. Arslan again. Spotted that run of Matt Leckie. Best touch from Osler. Arslan. And this wide for Leo Natel. City content to play a bit of keep ball, or at least they were. David Williams read that and he's going to go for goal. Well, that was ambitious. Spotted Jamie Young off his line. There's Ross Pelligra, the new owner, of course, of Perth Glory. Yeah, that little shake of the head probably sums up the afternoon, Grace.
Yeah, fair to say. It's been difficult watching for that of the Perth fans who have travelled, tuning in. It's a really lacklustre opening 45 minutes. They'll be looking for a lot more from this second half. Sturgis turned to the bench, made a few changes, looking for a bit of a response. They've been 5 goals deep. Understandably, a really difficult position to try and claw your way out of.
Well, it took 14 minutes for Melbourne City to find their first goal. We've nearly played 14 minutes of the second half. Here's Jakalic. Ugarkovic, and a fist by Ollie Sale almost opened the door for Jamie McLaren, but he needed a touch to try and set himself. And it goes for Leo Natel again. Right idea, wrong execution. Williams looking to hit Adam Taggart. Cyprian's intervention. In the air it goes off Fernandez, controlled by Katrumbis. Osler. Nobody there for glory. A bit sloppy from both teams. Latchman. Wide left is Daniel Benny. And again, optimistic really to try and beat Jamie Young from that narrow angle. Adam Taggart says, I was in the middle. Well, could have played me in.
Yeah, you heard the shout straight away from Taggart, didn't you? When Benny decided to shoot, little drop of the shoulder, shifted the weight, arms out from Adam Taggart, saying he was there, he was the option, unmarked. He drifted into the 6-yard box. Just these moments, decision-making on the ball.
Adam Taggart, by the way, 73 A-League goals. He's only 2 behind Alex Brosk in 7th place on the all-time list on 75. And he's scored 10 goals in 15 matches against Melbourne City. He's never scored at this venue, which I had to check twice, because he scored at most other places.
He's had a truly wonderful season for Perth.
Here's Colley, that's clever. Perth could be in here, but not the right release. Straight at Leckie. And now the counter could be on. Lovely turn by Arslan. Lovely slip ball through by Leckie. Leo Natel to square it up. They're queuing up here. McLaren joins in on the scoring act. It's 6 of the best for Melbourne City. And Jamie McLaren, who's not had the happiest of campaigns, has his 9th of the season. And Perth Glory have been undressed defensively once again.
Well, it's a 9th goal for the number 9, and on the Harvey Norman replay, again, well worked from Matt Leckie, just getting that little pass, pinching it through. And here, Jamie McLaren, well, he has time to set, to take his first touch. He has a look up, and he's got far too much time and space to pick his spot. It's a 6th goal of the afternoon, a 5-star performance from Melbourne City. It's lights out for Perth Glory.
Well, there's his seasonal numbers. And in terms of his all-time tally, it's 153 now in 230 matches. A couple of changes made whilst you're watching that replay by Aurelio Vidmar. Harry Politidis is on for Vicente Fernandez. That's a like-for-like change at left-back. And Matt Leckie's first starting appearance since February comes to a close right on the hour mark, and Alessandro Lopane is his replacement. Just at the point in the game, Grace, where you wouldn't exactly say Perth were dominating, but they just started to create 1 or 2 opportunities.
Yeah, certainly. They had a series of momentum there. A good passage of possession, some good forward movement as well. Just couldn't find the finishing touch. But I thought Leckie was excellent this afternoon. Does not look out of place, having come back into the starting side at all. Really great physicality shown on the ball, and, well, he was key to that final goal there that Jamie McLaren slotted home as well.
Glory have made a change as well, by the way. Jarrett Carluccio is on for Bruce Kamau. That's going to be a free kick for Melbourne City. The push from Trent Osler on one of the substitutes, Alessandro Lopane. Of course, Melbourne City will believe the more goals they can score, the better, because goal difference could yet decide a spot in the top 6. It's pretty unlikely, given that's the first tiebreaker these days is wins. But it's possible. Clear kick into the back of David Williams. Accidental, but it still hurts.
Yeah, well, certainly City doing some damage control to their goal difference this afternoon.
It's a high foot from Daniel Benny, which has left Nuno Reyes, who was the perpetrator some moments ago, and David Williams in some discomfort. Well, I don't think it's the boot that connects. I think it's the arm of Daniel Benny. Certainly it was a high boot. I think it's that follow through with the arm that collects with the face of Nuno Reyes.
It did look like Daniel Benny just at the very last minute pulled his foot out of the challenge, but certainly the right elbow did click on its way through.
Not the happiest of 18th birthdays for Daniel Benny. Celebrated that milestone yesterday. All part of the learning process for the teenager.
So just singing his praises at the start of the game as well, Daniel Benny. And at this point, an exception. All the right characteristics of a young player to have a great future in the game. He's had a wonderful season as well for Perth Glory, but this afternoon a very difficult one for the Glory side.
Nuno Reyes going through the concussion protocols, of course, with knock to the face, and taking their time before making sure he's okay to play on. As the Melbourne City substitutes, Curtis Good, of course, would be a natural replacement, I guess, as a central defender if Reyes was unable to continue. And there's the A-League women's team, the new premiers, going around signing the banners and the posters for the Melbourne City fans on the back of their premiership success. They'll be in finals action next week.
Very exciting times for the A-League women's finals as well, and also huge congratulations to Melbourne City Women's for their premiership. Face the Newcastle Jets next weekend off the back of yesterday's elimination final.
Well, whichever stats you look at, whatever way you want to slice it, it's been Melbourne City's day. Dropped off perhaps just a little bit in the second half, but you would expect that with such a healthy half-time lead. They know the points are safe, and that they've got that massive game against the Wanderers now looming next week in Parramatta. This is Jared Paluccio floating it nicely into the path of David Williams, who was only centimetres away from getting goal number 50 in the competition.
Well, very, very close there from David Williams. Nice little ball over the top as well, perfectly into the stride. Again, Adam Taggart's asking for it, but I don't think David Williams can cop too much grief there from having a go at that angle. Definitely have had their chances, Perth Glory.
This is Harry Politidis. Arslan, Natel. Back through Jago. Arslan. Jaklish back through Ugarkovic. Arslan again. Jaklish seen out by Laxman at the near post. Melbourne City going to trouble their record win which was set early this season, that 8-1 success over Brisbane in round 10. And they also scored 5 goals in a half of football, but that was in the second half. Williams and Cyprian in the tumble. Williams comes away with it, and Jamie Young forced into making the save. And City want to now kick the ball out so Samuel Cyprian can get some attention.
Cyprian went down after the little tangle with Davy Williams, didn't get back to his feet. This is the moment there. Just the clash of legs. And again, another flash point for Perth Glory to get a shot away on target. Certainly has kept Jamie Young a little busier into this second half.
David Williams has certainly spiced things up a little bit for Glory in attack. Energy, as you pointed out, Grace, that he brings, even though he's well into his mid-30s now. Very handy weapon to have off the bench. Maybe less so when you're 5-0 down at the break.
Oh, it makes it hard. And we know as well for Perth that they're a much better second half team. Rightly or wrongly, that's been the case of their season. Good majority of their goals coming in the second half of play.
This is the As Live ladder. It shows that Melbourne City will move up to within a point of the Wanderers, and with a better goal difference, but with fewer wins. And they meet at Combank Stadium next weekend. Between Politides and Natel. Frenchman on Katrumbis gives Glory the foul. Jakadummi for Ollie Sale. Oh, it's not a great ball forward by Sale, and they could still be in bother yet, Perth. Leo Natel thought about the shot. Arslan. I think they're both thinking about the hat-trick, aren't they? Which is understandable.
Well, hard not to when the goals have been going in like they have this afternoon. And interesting as well still to see that 6-0 up and City are still insisting with that high line, the high press, both McLaren and Arslan lining up just on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's forcing Perth Glory to look for the long ball or to find a way through, and on a few occasions have not been able to do so.
Tolgay Arslan, by the way, now 8 goals in 8 matches. It has been the class act for Melbourne City this season. Attempting clearance came off the head of Williams, but Taggart was offside and was aware of that fact, so he didn't bother to play at the ball. Arslan, all wrapped up by Trent Oswald. I thought that was a little bit harsh, but I guess if you go through the back of an opponent.
Yeah, on first glance, I thought perhaps a little harsh. The contact there, nonetheless. But you're right about Arslan, is at next level of quality. He's been the architect for so much of what City do this season.
Steven Ugarkovic looking to get in on the scoring act. It's Tolgay Arslan, hat-trick! A round dozen for the season, and his first treble in Melbourne City colours. What an afternoon for Tolgay Arslan.
What an afternoon, not only for Tolgay Arslan, but for Melbourne City. Clinical, ruthless, unwavering. And on the Harvey Norman replay for the 7th time this afternoon, it's a smooth move by Melbourne City. A tidy first touch by Tolgay Arslan, you'd expect nothing less. And a thundering finish into the back of the net. Make absolutely no mistake, he is a class player.
And Glory have been hit for 7. Moves level with Angel Torres on 13 goals. Making a late run for the Golden Boot, Grace.
Well, there's time yet.
So, that scoreline now equals their greatest margin of victory in their history, Melbourne City. 7-0 against Melbourne Victory, April 2021. And that 8-1 scoreline against Brisbane in December of last year, and also the 7-0 against Western Sydney Wanderers just a few short weeks back here at AAMI Park. Quite extraordinary that they've had 3 of those huge wins all in the same season and all at the same venue.
Well, when they're at their very, very best, Melbourne City, they're almost unplayable. The level of quality they've got individually, well, when that comes together in the way that it has this afternoon, they've taken their chances, they've made the most of Perth Glory's mistakes. A couple of moments of individual brilliance. It's prime time Melbourne City.
Perth Glory just want this afternoon to end. Floated forward by Benny. Could they get on the board here? Taggart. Defenders in the way. Katrumbis digs it out and finds Carluccio. It's too far in front of Johnny Katrumbis and the chance is gone. And you have to feel sorry for those Glory fans who have paid a lot of money to come and watch their team today. They have not been rewarded. Adam Taggart is going to take his leave without adding to his 17-goal tally this season, and will be replaced by Joel Anasmo for the final quarter of an hour plus stoppages.
Well, he cuts a frustrated figure, Adam Taggart. Didn't quite get the delivery or service he would have liked, but one player that does inject a bit of excitement is Joel Anasmo. All of his contributions in coming on across the course of the season have been energy, great speed he brings. So if nothing less, the final 15 minutes of play, perhaps Anasmo can just probe the Melbourne City defence.
Lopane. By the way, talking of records, this would be Perth Glory's record defeat. More on that in a moment. Lopane not on the same page as Leo Natel. At the moment, Glory's record loss stands at 6-0. It's happened 3 times, twice in the A-League. Once against Sydney in 2017, once against Western United in 2022. And once against Parramatta Power in the Old National Soccer League in 2003. Change for Melbourne City. They're in that position of luxury where they can take key players out, and nobody's had a better afternoon than this man, Tolgay Arslan. Brilliant.
Superb. Tolgay Arslan, the architect, pulls the strings, the conductor in the middle of the park for Melbourne City, gets a well-deserved applause and rest on the bench as well for the last few minutes of this game.
So Max Caputo and Zane Schreiber are with us for the closing stages. Zane Schreiber making his first appearance in City Blue since January. He's been out with an injury for the last couple of months. Former Sydney FC junior. wants to get some minutes into his legs. I said at the start of the game, Grace, that this was such a key afternoon for Melbourne City. Well, if there were any nerves, they didn't show it. They've been in control, really, from the first minute.
From the get-go, pure dominance. They've controlled the game, they've controlled the tempo. As I mentioned, they've been clinical in their finishing. Off the back of a couple of difficult losses as well, they needed a response. And coming into next week's game against Western Sydney Wanderers, how important this result. Well, you just can't overstate that.
I'll tell you what, looking at that scoreline will send a few shivers down the spines of the Wanderers ahead of that game next week after what City did to them in the last meeting. Of course, next week it is in Parramatta, not in Melbourne. So judged as a foul by Schreiber. Trent Osler's toiled hard in that midfield role. Jacadummi. Nuno Reis. Skinned off the head of Schreiber. Osler hangs one up, and Carluccio got a little piece of it. Here's Anasmo. Trumbis sends it behind for a goal kick.
The first look from Perth wasn't a bad one. And again, it's not through lack of those kind of forward movements from the team, but again, just that final pass, the final execution lacking. It's been a little their undoing this afternoon.
Ugarkovic. City in the mood for more. Caputo. McLaren off the upright. They were fortunate to escape an 8th there, Glory. And again, they worked it beautifully, Melbourne City.
Very, very close there for McLaren. The movement just to get in front of his defender as well was excellent. Just couldn't quite redirect the shot. Ricocheted off the woodwork.
Jamie Young had the best of times with the ball at his feet today. Just to get away with that one. And now Caputo. Ugarkovic going to have a go himself, and it breaks here for Caputo. Glory again all over the place defensively. And a slip by Katrumbis. Oh, Harry Politidis quite get hold of that.
Innovative run by Politidis. This is how close McLaren was. Just nips in front of Daryl Latchman. The timing of that movement from McLaren was perfect.
Trumbis is lost out to Natel. Here's Anasmo. Get goal side of Politidis, who chased back really well. And we're back to talking records, Grace. I said this would equal Melbourne City's all-time biggest win in terms of the margin of victory. It would also be a joint A-League record overall. Adelaide 8, North Queensland 1, January 2011. Adelaide 7, Newcastle 0, January 2015. Melbourne City 7, Melbourne Victory 0, April 2021. Yellow card for Jared Carluccio. And those 3 Melbourne City games, or the 2 other Melbourne City games that you mentioned, 3 including this one. City 8, Brisbane 1, and City 7, Wanderers 0. So they'll have 4 entries if it stays this way in a share of the biggest margin of victory, but there's still time for them to claim it outright. Quite remarkable day at Amy Park, and there's been a few this season.
It certainly has. It does feel like this game isn't entirely done yet. Still just under 7 minutes of regulation time to be played. City is still asking questions, still creating. When you talk about quality, what we've seen from this City side this afternoon, the believers of XG or otherwise, just over 2 XG and 7 goals in the back of the net. That's just huge.
And of course there's still a fair bit of work to do for them to actually make the finals, but I mean, if they can play like this in the finals, if they get there, I don't think many teams would want to face them. We know the firepower they've got. It's just been consistency that's been lacking really this season.
Of course, missing a couple of players as well. City without some stars of their own.
Yeah, Andrew Naboot, Callum Talbot, away with the Ollie Roos, Marco Tilio, perhaps still to come back. Scott Galloway might have played today had he not fallen victim to a knee problem as well. Here's his replacement at right back, Steven Ugarkovic, who's barely been tested. Schreiber, Supriya, Politidis, Caputo. Ball's gone out before Leo Natel could retrieve it. Yeah, there's a fair few notes being taken in that Perth Glory exact books, you'd imagine. Pelligra, and of course his new director of football, the great Stan Lazaridis. Great to see him back involved in football. They're going to have a busy off-season, you'd imagine. Here's Leo Natel. He's seen Tolga Arslan get his hat-trick. I'm sure he'd love one as well. City have got numbers here. Ugarkovic! It's 8! Could be a new A-League men's record. Steven Ugarkovic joins in the fun for Melbourne City, and Perth Glory have been utterly obliterated.
Well, speechless for Perth Glory, but for Melbourne City on the Harvey Norman replay, a nice sweeping move across the field stretches the Perth Glory defence, and Steven Ugarkovic, who has been sound all afternoon, streams into the 18-yard box, relatively unmarked, one touch, second finds the back of the net, and for the 8th goal of the afternoon, he says, let's put some sugar on it, and why not? A tidy finish.
And where was the Perth Glory defending? Take nothing away from Steven Ugarkovic, it was a tidy finish. But that was powder puff stuff from Glory. It looked like they want the season to end. But they've got a big game of their own coming up next week against Western United, which might just decide the wooden spoon as well. They'll have to be better than this. Here's Osler. At the moment they're on the wrong end of a record A-League scoreline. Unless they can find something in response. City want more. Leo Natel wants a hat-trick. It's not going to reach Caputo.
The defensive effort there from Joel and Asmo has to be commended. Streaming all the way back just to put a little bit of pressure on Natel, the final pass. Ollie Sale, who's had an afternoon to forget. He's been isolated on occasion after occasion. Did come out well to smother on that one.
Well, Tolga Arslan has come as close as I think I've seen this season to the perfect 100 in the Paramount Plus Player Index, and Leo Nattel's probably a bit unfortunate because he's on 99.3 and he's still not good enough for top spot. I don't think they'll care too much about that. This has been the perfect afternoon to welcome back Aurelio Vidmar. Oh, Leo Nattel might have blotted his copybook a bit here, though. Leg went a-swinging. It's a yellow card, just to spoil his day a little bit.
Well, you can hear the contact from the challenge. Just the coming together. The boot into the shin guard of Joel Anasmo. And you hope it got the shin guard indeed, but solid contact.
Joel Anasmo's okay. Samuel Cyprian inquiring as to his welfare. Katrumbis thumps the free kick forward. Drops here for Rawlins, who's going to get a corner for Glory. To at least perhaps get themselves on the scoreboard. A little bit of respectability. Colley's corner. Cyprian heads clear. Trumbus works it back wide for Rawlins. He curls one in. Oh, that was a good chance for Davy Williams to get that 50th goal. But he'll have to wait for it straight at Young.
I think perhaps clearest cut chance of the afternoon. On that occasion, Davy Williams was unmarked. It's a glancing header away right into the hands of Jamie Young. He wants to hold on to that clean sheet.
Just 3 minutes to be added. Jakalic. Gonna have a go himself. Oh. Thought that was going to bowl to the back of the net.
Yeah, almost a little surprised when it didn't. It did look to come off his boot really cleanly. Nice, vibrant run forward as well. It did have Ollie Sale beat. Didn't miss by much.
Well, Melbourne City are going to make a late change. As Marin Jakalic rues his misfortune. Leo Nattel, who's had a super game today, takes his leave. And all that's missing now, Grace, is a goal from halfway from Terry Antonis, and Melbourne City's night will be complete.
Well, right on cue. Here is Terry Antonis with a couple of minutes to play.
Williams. Katrumbis. Carluccio will keep it alive. Runs the box by Giordano Colli, gets the byline. Swept away by Ugarkovic. Jakalic can't break clear of Rawlins. He's in position for the return from Carluccio. Play by Antonis, his first involvement. Caputo puts it out for a throw. In summation, Grace, just the sort of boost that Melbourne City wanted ahead of that big 6-pointer next week. Perth Glory are going to have an awful long week on the training paddock ahead of their game with Western.
Yeah, there's going to be some serious reflecting done for this Perth Glory performance. And 2 for Melbourne City. A near perfect performance. You really can't fault them. Goal scoring, the way that they've handled the game.
Is there one more goal to come? Turners' ball is steered to safety by Daryl Latchman. 3 minutes of stoppage time almost up. It's going to be a foul and a card for Steven Ugarkovic for holding back his opponent. Probably the last attack of the game. Here comes Stenor for Perth. And there we go, full time. And it is a new A-League record victory. And it goes to Melbourne City, who have utterly spanked Perth Glory by 8 goals to 0 here. A hat-trick for Tolgay Arslan, a couple for Leo Natel, one for Jamie McLaren, one for Steven Ugarkovic, and an own goal from Kalen Majaka-Dunmi, completing Melbourne City's 100th win at Amy Park in the A-League men's competition. And as for Perth Glory, well, it was a nightmare on Swan Street for the men from WA. Ollie Sale wanders off, wondering, quite unearthed, what happened. City move up onto the shoulders of the Western Sydney Wanderers in 6 and set up a huge showdown next weekend in Parramatta. Perth miserably fail in their bid to move off the bottom. They have their own winner-take-all clash with Western United next. Full-time at Amy Park. Melbourne City 8, Perth Glory 0. Well, what to make of that, Grace Gill?
Wrap your head around that one if you can. A lot of thinking, a lot of introversion to be done across the week for Perth Glory. Melbourne City can be very proud of their performance, individually and the collective. It was domination from start to finish.
A very welcome return to the technical zone for Radio Vidmar, who had missed the last 3 games. A little less so for Alan Stajic, who looks a little dazed by proceedings, and understandably so. A record defeat for Perth Glory, for this proud club who were champions 20 years ago, but have sunk to the bottom of the A-League ladder again this season. Long week ahead, as Grace said, for them. As for us, we're going to get some reaction now with Zappa.
Back into the starting lineup this afternoon. What a way to make your return.
There's been a lot of noise about the American season in the air. I don't want to do any time right now. Obviously, the finals not too far away, you just mentioned there, but an important week today, and in fact for City, we've got 1 all there here in America. What's your message to the fans today to get out and support? Just keep supporting us. Back to our attendant. Thanks so much.
Lecky returned to the starting 11 this afternoon, and he made an impact as well. And what a time to bring him back, the Socceroo, into this side as he regains form and fitness. Tolgay, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Times that I've interviewed you today so far this season, but you've got the match ball. It's the first match ball. Match ball.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not me, it's the team. And yeah, I told you, I think many weeks ago, when the team is switched on, it's hard to beat us. And yeah, especially today, I think many players were on a high level, and it made it also easy for me. So I just put my feet in and to score. But yeah, thanks for the team. And yeah, I think you guys have next week the first final game, and yeah, it's very important for us. Yeah, confidence is there, but we showed also other faces of us this year, so we have to be very careful. Yeah, we should enjoy today, but and you know, as a football player, every game is different, and so we have to be switched on again. This game starts again at 0, and yeah, when we can play like today, of course, we have a big chance to win, but it's a hard game.
Tolgay, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've come from Italy, Serie A, where in pre-season often Serie A clubs go to smaller clubs in Europe to get a game like that when they can win 8, 9, 10-0 to prepare for the season. With the greatest respect to Perth Glory, I guess, for that team that they did today, does that provide you with a similar sort of preparation for next week and then hopefully for your sake the finals that come?
It's a league game is always different. You have the adrenaline is different. The friendly game is you are very relaxed, and even when I wake up in the morning, I have a different feeling. And yeah, I would just want to enjoy. I just want to play, and yeah, it's nearly the position in the youth where I played, and yeah, I just enjoy every minute on the pitch and try to enjoy the time with the family here. And yeah, for me, it's an honor to be in Australia and hopefully to stay here.
We hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's yeah. It was yeah. With his motorbike, I can hear it. I can hear him sometimes.
Especially on Derby night outside your street, huh?
Yeah, I can hear him sometimes. Yeah, but he's not late. My kids, they go to bed at 8. Then I don't see him. I don't hear him, so it's fine. Thank you so much.